Welcome to Thrones and Scones. It's your weekday morning podcast where we talk mostly about Game of Thrones, but then also so much about scones. Do
Straight
we
up
have those
50-50.
things today? Yeah, 50-50, baby.
50-50.
Today we're touching Game of Thrones Season 3, Episode 5, and garden veggie cheddar. I can't wait to get into that.
It's a scone. It'll be delicious.
We'll see. What I know for sure is that today's episode is called Kissed by Fire, which not necessarily something that you want to be. I know I'm not talking shade on the gingers here. I'm saying actually, if you're kissed by fire, you should maybe go and see Jeremy tomorrow in the clinic.
And if you were to live, you should definitely not see Jeremy in clinic.
Yeah, go into a circus or something. Who's to say? You guys want to hear a little wiki?
Yeah, break it down.
Do you have any requests? The Macho Man thing was a big hit.
Oh God, that was too hilarious.
Oh, he put me on the spot.
I know. Now I think everything I could think of is really not appropriate.
All I can think of now is how good that Macho Man was.
You just got to really channel the constipation.
Speaking of just bulk dudes, do you have an Arnie Schwartz?
Oh, of course. Sure. Let's. All right. Season 3, Episode 5. Kissed by fire. Wow. The Hound is judged by the gods. Jamie is judged by the men. Jon proves himself. Robb is betrayed. And Tyrion learns the cost of weddings. They're very expensive.
See, I think in future we're gonna have to continue to do that the entire episode.
Oh gosh. And hold on. What? And there's our last listener. They're gone. All right. It's been fun. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Oh Lord.
Thanks, Bob, for sticking through.
It's hard to believe that we're halfway through Season 3 already, and we've made it to an episode that has a couple pretty cool turning points in it. I want to open the floor. Where do you guys want to start? What's some of your favorite stuff?
I think we should start right at the beginning of the episode and my favorite part.
Oof. See, this was a close call for me. I had to give it to something else, but it stung not to choose this moment.
Yeah, this is just so the Hound. We're talking the Hound and the what's the leader of the Brotherhood's name?
Beric.
Yeah, Beric Dondarrion.
Yeah, I couldn't think of his last name. I still probably couldn't say it.
I was gonna say I can say it if you want me to.
Yeah, I think we should give Jeremy say
Beric Dandelion.
I had to look it up again. What's the spelling?
What? No, Jeremy, just go for it. Don't look it up. Just go for it.
Beric Barbarian.
Beric Barbarian.
Yeah, that, honestly, if you say it fast enough, sounds
pretty damn close.
I think that was a kid's show back in the day, wasn't it?
Beric the Barbarian.
Right after Barney, the purple dinosaur.
But anyway, just see a lot of cool stuff here. We finally get to see him light his sword on fire. Pretty badass.
Oh, with his blood.
Yeah, super badass. And that Hound kill. Okay, so in this fight, the Hound seems a little less afraid of fire than he did in that last fight we saw him in King's Landing.
Yeah.
I felt maybe a little bit of a plot hole because in King's Landing the guy couldn't handle it. He basically ran away from the fight because
the guy is on fire running at him, and the guy's like 20 feet away, and he's like frozen. Yeah, a sword on fire is like, oh, I can fight through this.
Yeah, so I thought that was a little questionable, but nonetheless, still my favorite part because of that kill. He just freaking goes through the sword into the dude's
clavicle.
Just through the sword, through the clavicle. Just badass.
I know that it's such like a nice thing by the writers to do as well, because had they just had it end properly, they just fight for a couple more minutes, ding ding ding, someone probably with an annoying voice like mine would pop up and be like, actually the fire would compromise the structural integrity of that sword. Just whoosh right through it, pretty deep down into his his body.
It's like in chest cavity kind of world. And I'm like, I'm like,
problematic.
Well, not getting up from that one.
Yeah, and then you see him.
But alas.
Yeah. Then so then spoilers, in case you haven't seen the episode, he gets revived, and then we see. I guess I don't know if you actually see that specific scar. I can't remember now, but basically his scars are very small.
I made a note of it because at first I'm like, okay, wound healed, like a big wound. But then I went back and looked, and it's like they've got his armor kind of over it. So I'm wondering if they're just kind of holding it together. And then later on, when he's going to show Arya his scars, you can see like stitching there. Okay. So, but there's got to be some level of healing because you had to break ribs. You had to go through probably his heart at that point. Like,
yeah, that's my question. Even if you can bring like his life force back somehow. I mean, that's some pretty intensive surgical work that needs to be done. Stat.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, so like another time where we're seeing the whole Lord of the Light magic, if you will, right? We saw the demon baby born, and then now we get essentially bringing you back from the dead. Although he admits that, especially in the conversation with Arya, of like, because she's like, look, why couldn't this have happened? Why couldn't we have brought back my father? And he's like, well, it doesn't work that way with the head thing. And she's like, yeah, but, brought you back 7 times, some clearly mortal wounds. And he's like, yeah, you're brought back, but you lose pieces of you. Really not explaining what that means, but,
his balls, probably.
Yeah. Definitely the left testicle is gone by now.
Yeah.
Fifth
Several
finger.
ribs. Yeah. Because his eye didn't grow back.
Yeah.
Right.
But apparently his heart and all his blood vessels can.
Yeah. This part, as we've seen it so far, is like pretty true to the books. But the one change, and I don't know why they didn't just keep it. It would have been simple, and it makes you never see it happen. You can just picture it. But when Barrick's going through like how he died each time, like blah, blah, blah to Arya, in the books, the mountain killed him 3 or 4 of those times. So the mountain just keeps killing him, and it's like driving Gregor Clegane insane that he just keeps running into this dude and keeps killing him, and just keeps showing back up. And I think I don't know why they took it away. Maybe just for believability's sake, but you just resurrected a dude. I think it would have been a funny thing to include.
Yeah, they don't, that's one character that really doesn't get much spotlight in this show until even moving forward, we don't get a lot of Gregor Clegane. So I wonder if it's just, as far as like character development, like he's there a lot in the future seasons, but at that point, other things have happened and he's, less than talkative, I would say.
It's a good point. From the fire doing its work, we move on to some literal fireworks. It's time to fuck in a cave.
Oh, fill that for sweet, sweet.
I thought you were gonna break off into Katy Perry right there.
Yeah.
Fire.
Baby, you're a firework. Jon Snow, show me what that booty do. Didn't rhyme. Didn't really fit
we
with
get
the
another
rhythm,
gif.
but
You know nothing, Jon.
Oh, yeah.
Where do you get that? Someone's king of another land called the vagina. Or I put king of oral or cunningless in there as well.
Yeah. We always thought that Sam was always the good talker, the smart one, but John's a cunning linguist himself. We have learned. Another meme here, maybe my favorite Game of Thrones meme. Jon Snow knows 2 things: how to eat pussy and nothing. But yes, he breaks his Night's Watch vows in a cave that must be a hot spring, right? It doesn't look like a hot spring, but certainly it would be frozen if it wasn't.
I don't care if it's a hot spring or not. There is absolutely like an opening in the top of that cave and water dripping down from the top of the cave, which would be ice and snow. That shit is gotta be cold.
Yeah, they're like, let's bond in here.
And there's no steam coming off that water. So
Fucking gold.
Yeah, that's big.
I never want to leave this cave, Jon Snow. My nipples are hard as ice.
Yeah, that my notes just say, aren't they cold? ? There's a fucking waterfall from outside.
And it looks like, they're outside, they're marching around for a while, and she's like, oh, Jon Snow, Her accent's constantly different to me. Oh, Jon Snow, come into this cave. I got your sword. Let me see your pecker. And then they walk in. It looks like this pretty.
I'm pretty sure that was getting a little Hispanic. That accent.
It started out as an Irishman, and then it just kept
And then it
going.
went very, Juan Snow, come.
Your pecker.
But it looks like it's just like, oh, it's a weird outcropping. Oh no, there's an opening. Boom, Cave of Wonders. Like, oh, we can make our living room here, and here's where the kitchen can go.
She knows all these caves, right? She's like, let us disappear, and no one will ever find where we go. And they're like, hey, is John and Eager down there fucking? Yes.
Yeah.
That seemed a bit too convenient.
Yeah. But it was it's an interesting moment. It's kind of also a topic I wanted to bring up today. At this point, I think that the case is pretty much solidified in the future. But here and now, where do you guys think Jon's head is at? Is he doing his duty with Ygritte, the duty he promised to Corin? This is the way for him to gain the trust of the one person that he, who has already kind of admitted to be like, I know there's more to you. What's going on? Blah, 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 blah. Or do you think that he's actually in love?
I see. If watching this episode, I feel like when he gives up his vow, I mean, I don't think you can argue another way. I think he's showing how much he cares for her. Now, does that mean that he no longer is considering himself, kind of part of beyond the wall or below the wall and his family and that stuff, and or the whole Knights of the Watch and things like that? But I just feel like he really wants her. He respects the way that she's living her life, and I think that he's jealous of that. So, yeah, I think he likes her. I think it's quite clear he likes her.
I think so too. I do wonder because it's so tough for me. Because also we got to remember, like, he's still I don't know how old he is, 18, 19 at this point. Yeah. Like, he's probably going to get swooned off pretty dang quickly there. But I love the dialogue, and it's so simple. But I did make a note of it where he's just like blah 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 blah. We shouldn't. We should. It's like, yeah, yep. That's what you say. That's perfect. Yeah.
Someone's blood changed direction for that brief moment.
Yeah.
But he went from like, I like, how he goes from very nervous. They're like, oh, I don't know if I should take all right, time to go downtown. He doesn't grab an awkward boob first or anything. Float. Like, he's just like, all right. Beep, 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 beep.
Are you blowing bubbles down there?
Yeah.
Dive.
Swooned off pretty quickly, probably figuratively and literally, given it never had anything like this before. Probably.
Sure. It's very cold as well.
Yeah. Well,
so,
yeah.
Hey, he's got to warm up.
I feel so. If I get your question, but I think he's gotta. I just don't think he would break that vow. He could have just said, like, hey, I can't perform. It's freaking cold in here. Yeah, something like that. Or if he is breaking the vow, what does he do? What does he just have his fingers crossed behind his back the whole time or something? I don't know. I don't buy it. I think he's into her.
Yeah, agreed. I think that you are correct there.
I'd say another part of this episode that was my favorite part, and I don't know if we've gone to yours as well, but was the Jaime and Brienne. That moment in the hot springs or hot tub or whatever, that entire conversation, that moment of you see, like, obviously we know he's not completely broken. He has more of that coming. But we see that hopelessness and like that, all right, I'm going to tell you the weight that's on me and what I've lived through being the Kingslayer, and how he's like, just, essentially ends with him saying, just Jaime. My name is Jaime. Can someone owe me that, that gratitude and respect and just call me Jaime? And Brienne, I mean, she's a badass. She clearly has been through a lot in this very short time that she's been involved with the Stark family as well, and showing her, I don't know, do you think she's falling in love with Jaime? Or do you think this is more of an honor thing?
It's very tough for me to gauge. I think that there is a weird level of, I don't even want to say romance, but there's some affection there for sure.
It's
But
almost
I
like
think-
two
yeah.
knights who like respect each other in this weird way, right?
I think it goes beyond that in a sense of like she is the person, and she's discovering this, that like sees who he is more than anyone else.
Right.
More than I think she would say, and he would say, whether he would admit it out loud or not, like Cersei even. Like she has gotten to his core and she holds this like idea of his being within herself now. And I don't know if, she's in love with that or not, but it's very intimate in a way.
Right. Yeah, no, and that's very powerful, and I thought that was like one of the coolest parts of the episode because again, they're so good together. There's just you believe it, you feel that emotion. I thought that was cool. So best part.
I marked it down as my favorite part of the episode as well. I mean, that scene in particular, but just this is, I think, for the whole series, as far as my memory goes, like Nikolai's best episode. Like everything Jamie in this episode is great. When he's with Qyburn and he's like cutting away the thing, he's like, no, you're not putting me under. Like you're not taking my arm.
Right.
He's like, it's gonna hurt. He's like, I'm gonna scream. He's like, it's gonna hurt a lot. He's like, well, then I'll scream really loudly. Like he's defeated, but he's kind of starting to fight back a little bit. I love everything about him in this episode.
Yeah,
it was good.
I do too. I was a little nervous. He's got his nub. They show that his nub doesn't really go in the water, which is good. But I'm telling you, those hot tubs swarming with bacteria.
Oh yeah,
I guarantee that thing's not.
Pseudomonas.
I guarantee that thing's not even chlorinated.
I was thinking the whole time, like, it does not look comfortable the way it's just sticking out. Like, just put your elbow on top of the frickin', like, you don't want to look like you're lounging too much. I don't
No.
understand.
If you look, when Brienne was in there was a little container of pH strips right behind her. Like she was
really?
dipping. She was checking.
And she was good?
She was like, it's a little acidic, but we're okay.
We get yeah. Also, at Harrenhal, while we're still there for a moment, we don't know the extent of his, dubiousness yet. Do you guys kind of like Roose Bolton in this episode? Like, he's a dick to Locke when he comes back.
Yeah.
And he's just like, he's still kind of a dick to Jamie. He does that whole thing where he's like, oh, you haven't heard. Stannis Baratheon stormed the castle and your sister is absolutely fine. Like, and you just see like Jamie collapse. Like he's playing him, but he's just kind of doing it to see it. I don't know. I kind of liked him in this episode.
Yeah, well, we don't have a reason not to yet. We find out clear in the future what kind of human piece of shit he is. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true.
Even then, you obviously kind of know. Is it this episode or the next episode we find out he's really like working with Jamie?
I think it is the. Do I have a note in the next one? It's the next one.
Okay. So I guess not yet then, right? He's fine. I don't know. Roose just kind of. I don't know if maybe just doesn't get enough screen time, where I just kind of always forget that character even exists.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Other big moments that happened in the show. Rickard Karstark kills the Lannister boys, Martin and Willem Lannister, and is killed by Robb Stark. Really, kind of the last turning point here of Robb's thing. You can say at this point whether or not it was really going to make a difference, but that's a big blow. Robb losing half his army. Yeah. But I mean, I respected it. I think they've set up Robb to make the decision that he made. I think that they're being consistent with that, and it was believable even when everyone was kind of telling him, "Hey, don't do this." He's sticking to his guns, and I think it's what Ned would have done too, and he's gonna pay for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Ned wouldn't have married Talisi, right?
Talisi.
Talisi.
You don't. It's probably true. Probably very true.
I mean, he'd have a bastard with her, but he wouldn't marry her.
Correct. Allegedly.
He'd have an alleged, a fake bastard.
Yeah. We also get to meet Selyse Baratheon in this episode, and she's fucking insane. She's got a bunch of fetuses in jars, which is, I imagine the writers of this show taking the books, looking at all the source material, all the weird stuff, and they're like, all right, this is too odd, we got to cut this. This is too complicated, we got to cut this. You know what? Stannis has a wife, and it doesn't say much about her in the books. What if we gave her some jarred fetuses?
It's such a creepy scene because there's like multiple stages of gestation in these floating green vials, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. That's cool. Why would you keep them? That's weird. That's weird.
Yeah, it's very creepy. We do also get to see the flip side of that coin in what is probably the most pure character in the entire series, Shireen.
Yeah,
His daughter.
It's you're coming right up to my least favorite part of the episode. One of my not because I think it's a weak point in the episode, and I'm only saying this because I know what happens. But it's so hard to watch these scenes with Stannis' daughter. So
You've got a while to do it too.
yeah,
I like her so much, and I think she's just that ray of sunshine. With one notable exception, you never really see her frown.
yeah. I think it's I think she's a really good character, and I actually really like her character, and I like that whole thing. But the second she appeared on screen, I was like, oh shit, I totally forgot all about this storyline, and I just immediately got depressed.
Yeah. I don't know if you forgot, you blocked it out.
Yeah.
Probably on purpose. Your subconscious is like, we cannot handle this.
I forgot
Please don't
that
watch this.
I totally forgot that the mom was just kind of a bitch too. Like she doesn't care about her daughter or any of that. and
She's
basically
more
told us-
obsessed with the whole Lord of Light than
Yeah. So
everyone
I totally
else is.
forgot
I mean,
about that.
she's fucking crazy.
I remember her being kind of crazy and sick or whatever you want to call it, but I didn't remember her being that far gone.
We haven't talked about Daenerys. Really, just the whole Jorah and Barristan, right?
Oh. Barristan.
Barristan. I like Barristan better. Because they have this whole pissing contest initially.
Yeah, it's nice
right?
locker room talk.
It is, right? And then, I think, which was it for? Was it Jorah when he was knighted, but was talking about how much he had to piss or something?
Yeah.
I was
Be the first night to pee on the king's boots.
Yeah. I was like, okay, that's super random. And then of course he's trying to figure out how much does Barristan know about him being a spy? Because he, was he there in the small, I think, gathering of his
small council,
council.
Which I guess I was wrong. He does not know, and I meant to go back and check, but I'm lazy and I didn't. I swear that the first time Daenerys and everybody is brought up is when Ned is first brought into the small council chambers, when he first arrives in the city, and I swear Barristan is in that meeting. So, I mean, I guess you can imply he doesn't know where the information came from, but I imagine it would have come up.
Yeah, I don't remember if he's ever... I feel like he walks in with his other guards with him to address Robert, but I don't remember if he was ever actually in prior. Because there's parts where you see them come in and he's standing there, but I don't remember if that was during a council meeting or before it started. Because I think a lot of times it was before it started. So
my least favorite part about this episode is, and we can go ahead and go to the tally board, Sansa mistake number 2, which is refusing to leave once again, this time with Littlefinger. She had already kind of set it up, but the prospect of a young gay twink was enough to swing her from her, soon-to-be safe perch into sticking around so that she could have a fun sister-in-law and maybe some butt play with Loras Tyrell.
That was pretty bad. Although, with that being said, I think Sansa pretty much makes... Every decision Sansa makes is pretty much a mistake. But what do you think going with Littlefinger would have been good for her?
Well, I mean, spoiler, we see her go with Littlefinger later, unintentionally to her, but it does happen, and I mean, you can debate the merits of that and how it plays out for her, I suppose. There's some good and some bad. I think that it would have probably gone just as well as it ended up going for her. But conversely, had she stuck around and had everything that's going to happen with Tyrion play out like it does, she's dead there, Yeah,
good point. Pretty much, she's doomed no matter what.
So, I don't know. And speaking of Tyrion and Sansa set to wed. Tywin Lannister bringing his kids in for a little double dose of mic drop.
Little matchmaker kind of thing. he's so proud of himself. Actually, so I think it's the next episode that you kind of get him with the grandmother, right?
Yes.
That I actually really enjoyed. That was probably one of the best parts of that episode. But this time he's just like, hey, yeah, fuck you kids. You will marry these people. We will control this land. Now everyone go eat your porridge.
Go to your room.
Go to your room, you fuckers. And it's like two whiny teenagers like, but Dad.
You love how he let Cersei have her minute to think that she was pulling one over on Tyrion before he's like, you're going to marry Loras Tyrell. You're my daughter!
That scene was good. I like you're saying, I like the very childish nature of the whole thing.
Yeah. As for our good, bad, and jugglies for this episode, we pretty much hit on all of them. We see Ygritte. We see John for a split second. We see Jamie and Brienne from the Booties, and Oliver, which I think was his name, the squire that is set to seduce Sir Loras by the command of Peter Baelish.
Yeah, and just to be thorough,
Had to rewind it
on Mr. Oliver. You're getting near root, maybe a little base on that.
Little base?
Yeah. Yeah. Quick
I had
shot.
to pause it to clarify it.
It's a quick shot, but you're definitely getting something.
It's not a trick of the light there.
No.
It's my phone wallpaper. That's how I know for sure. Well, it was a great episode. Season 3, Episode 5, Kissed by Fire. As we said, so much happens.
We need the Kissed by a Rose, like the soundtrack behind that.
I compare you to a kiss by a rose. What did you guys? I thought this was like maybe the best episode of the season so far.
I think it's a good episode. I liked a lot was going on. I definitely feel like, again, it's starting to pick up. Like you get this sensation of now where, like we've hit the whole top of the curve and now we're just running down the hill. So I think yes, the next. Would you think this is the best episode of the season?
I won't say that. No, not at all.
I don't think we can make that statement yet.
But I think so far.
I mean, we can always make that statement.
I think, Jeremy, not all of us are seasons ahead, but Jeremy's like, do you think this is the best episode of the series?
Because I'm through it twice already.
No, I'm literally watching it again so many times now because I've gotten so far ahead.
I told you, just slow down.
I think
you get hooked again, right? You get like sucked in.
For me, episode 4 was better than this. Just the whole Daenerys storyline.
It's true.
That was
very good.
That was pretty badass.
A lot going on north of the wall, which I thought was interesting. So I think 4 for me nudges out 5, but I do think 5 is up there for. I think we're getting in a good stride here in these episodes.
Well, Hans, your opinion is what I crave. I'm curious what your thoughts are on that garden veggie cheddar scone.
Yeah, so let me hit you with this real quick. This is from Outpost Grocery, again, as most of my reviews will be from now on.
They've hooked you up.
So yeah, I'm officially sponsored.
But not paid.
He's got that merch on right now.
I actually pay them. It's a different type.
It's a nice face tattoo of Outpost Grocery.
Yeah. So I recently had their spinach artichoke cheddar scone. This is. And then, coincidentally, very quickly after, the garden veggie cheddar. Can you grow spinach and artichoke in the garden? Because I'm not so confident that they really changed anything in this scone. I'm thinking maybe they just did some nomenclature change. Anyway, first review of that prior scone, I said it wasn't great. This review, tweaked it, threw it in the toaster. Cut it in half, threw it in the toaster, buttered it a little bit. Pretty good. Much better. That's the way to eat these savory scones, apparently.
Did Jenna try this one? Because I think her review of the first one was the worst thing she's ever put in her mouth.
I feel like she did, but I've been eating so many scones.
So who can keep track?
There is no such thing.
Well, if you would like to see all of these scones, they're up on our Instagram. Of course, we've got a plethora of social media. You can find them all at Thrones and Scones, thronesandscones.com if you want all the details on everything and every which way you can find it. And of course, we'll catch you tomorrow for season 3, episode... No, is tomorrow Saturday? Shit, this week has gone fast. All right, we'll catch you on Monday for Season 3, Episode 6, The Climb. Are you, pray tell, down with GOT?
Yeah, you know me.
So that's like the first time we've talked more than 30 seconds about Scones. Good job. Yeah. Fuck you both.
But anyway,
I think we have like 15 minutes in most episodes. I'm not really sure where you're coming from there.
Yeah, because we do like 30,
it's a good 50-50 every time.
Yeah, we do like 30-ish minute episodes, 15 on
Hans,
15 on
who
Scones.
fucking never talks about anything, talks more about this goddamn horrible garden cheddar thing.
You have no idea that. It was not horrible. It was decent.
You had literally the same one last week and said it was horrible.
Yeah, but he said he changed the procedure here.
That was spinach artichoke. This was garden veggie cheddar. Very different.
Very different.
So for our running our themes, I feel like we need to really touch on these theme songs more. So next week, we obviously have a Miley Cyrus opportunity, right?
There's always gonna be a 700-foot wall. I think so. It's The Climb, which I always thought sounded like an STD. Oh no, I got the climb. It's like a combination of the clap and lice. Like it's the clap, but they kind of
climb out of.
Yeah.
Oh, that is horrible. That is rough.
They slowly ascend. They slowly ascend your body.
Hey baby, what do you got? Oh my god, it's coming out on me.
So it's the layman term for grayscale. That's how it starts. Who knew it was an STD? Makes it real weird that Shireen's got it, doesn't it? Yep, we went there.
And we're
real
done.
sorry about that.
How did Shireen get this grayscale?
I think the story is, I don't know if they touch on it. I think Stannis does say it.
He does.
Later. I believe it was like some trader came in with, not like traitor, like trader, with like goods and shit. And there was a doll. And I don't remember if the doll was infected on purpose or by accident, but it was infected. Gotcha. And like Shireen had taken the doll and basically got it. And she's, I think, one of the only people in recorded history to be cured of grayscale. Mm-hmm.
Right, because isn't Daenerys' baby that's all disfigured has scales and too from the whole grayscale thing?
I don't think that's implied. I think that's more of a dragon connotation. But
really,
yeah, I
thought they mentioned that specifically.
That it had grayscale?
No. In the book, I thought they mentioned that it was that someone like is talking about the way it looked or something. I have to go back and
maybe.
look.
Yeah, I don't remember that. It's possible.
Because I remember thinking that when I was watching the show, like, oh, okay, never mind. Maybe that was mentioned. Okay.